but to be honest with you, I have no idea what he's saying. But I know that the Niger president then, well, he's still the president because the ECOWAS believe that he's still the valid president, even though the coup organizer says, well, we don't believe in him. He's not the president anymore. We take him out. This was 10 months ago. So I'm taking you through the timeline so that some of you have the understanding of what actually took place that led to what we are now witnessing in the Republic of Niger. Thank you so much, Tiamiu. I'm doing very well. Good evening to you, Mr. Gapson, our beautiful mother, Ramatu. Good evening to you. And good evening to you, Iyalaje Akure. Good evening to you, Olajire. Good evening to you, all the Yoruba Nation campaigner and all the Biafra campaigner. And good evening to those of you that are revolutionaries under Omoyele Sowore. So let me take you through the timeline. Major city, as we speak right now in Niger, are now facing a rolling blackout following the last week coup in the West African country. There is already power shortage as a result of Nigeria now cutting supply to his northern neighbor. So it seems the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, good evening to you, Adam Olamilekon, Moses C.A., good evening to you. Keep the comment coming. Just reason say you may ask if there's a trusted French speaker to phone in and interpret for us. Okay, maybe we might do that later on, but let's continue quickly because there's a lot to discuss and I have everything packed up ready for you tonight. I'm telling you, it is going to be a fantastic evening with me on the Niger Voices. Good evening to those of you on the Twitter space. Good evening to those of you on the Twitter. Good evening to every one of you that have joined us so far. Already, it seems that the federal government of Nigeria have said, you know what, disconnect the power supply. We are not supplying them any more power. Do you think that is going to make them feel, maybe we should just accept it? Let me now give you the timeline. 4 days ago, or should we start with Bola Ahmed Tinubu responding to the problem from Abuja during the ECOWAS emergency summit? This is how Bola Tinubu addressed the ECOWAS members as we go straight into the conversation. My name is Olamide Koiki. This is Star Radio UK, Niger Voices every Wednesday. Let's go into it.
Because you accepted my invitation to be here, that's why the short notice I was given to you. Some people were far up in the east, and especially those who travel 8-9 hours to be here. I thank all of you for honoring this emergency. It shouldn't have been so. If not for extraordinary summit that is necessary to address the situation that we have in the Niger Republic, threatening our authority, and a very devoted member of this union. Great thanks to African Union and other international observers. We can't pretend that we didn't have the knowledge of what had happened and what is still happening. We have an hostage situation, an interruption to properly elected government of the Niger Republic. Your presence here reflects your commitment to democracy, principle, and value.
All right, let's leave that for the time being. That is how the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, also the chairman of ECOWAS, made his first address to ECOWAS. Well, not the first address, but the emergency address that we saw happening in Abuja on Sunday which is literally the 30th of July, if I am right with the date. But a lot has happened since then. There's a lot of things that have happened since the Sunday. The communique, and the reason why we are doing the program this evening, is part of the communique that came out on Sunday. Good evening to you, Mrs. Sarah Oyelowo, our beautiful grandmother. Welcome to Omolara Iyabo, and good evening to all the Ayomikun Damiju. Good evening to Olamilekon, and thank you so much to all the back-end team. I guess there should be an audio. Someone is saying there's no. Okay, it's better now. Okay, I got that. Thank you so much. My question tonight is, many Nigerians are probably not following what is happening, as Bola Tinubu has now a huge role as the chairman of ECOWAS. He will also be making the decision or a joint decision to attack Republic of Niger. The question is, would Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, give the all clear? Because as we speak today, there was an emergency meeting. I am not sure whether as many of the ECOWAS Chief of Defense Staff were present, but there was an emergency meeting that took place in Abuja, where we know that, from what we are told, 5 countries were absent as the ECOWAS defense chiefs meet in Nigeria. It is now literally a countdown to where the federal government of Nigeria, the chairman of ECOWAS, would be giving an order for attack on Republic of Niger. Are you concerned as a Nigerian? Tunde Talk Show say, let them go ahead. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Senegal will also attack them. That means they're going to attack Lagos. They are going to attack Abuja. They are going to attack Anambra. They will be attacking many places in Nigeria, and Lagos will be a target. Kingsley, good evening to you. Madipi said Nigerians are not ready. How do you expect them? Keep the comment coming. I want to read more from you. Larry Lamina say, yes, Tinubu is calling for Third World War. Do you also think that this is a proxy war that is about to leash? I have what the United Nations have said 4 hours ago, and I'll be giving you, as I wish I was on the seat as well, I will have given question to the representative of United Nations that is currently based in Ghana as I speak to you right now. Shout out to those of you in Ghana. Shout out to those of you in Benin Republic. I'll be coming back to the self-determination struggle later on. Do you think that the letter from Aloy Jimakor is valid? I'll be telling you everything we need to know so far. But as we speak right now, we are now countdown to the attack of the Republic of Niger by the ECOWAS, and the chairman is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We already know that the Mali and Burkina Faso, and these are part of the question that was put to the United Nations journalists that were asking questions. Some of the question asked was, what is the United Nations going to do? Are we going to see a resolution council, the Security Council coming up? This again is
broadcasting worldwide online 24/7. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7. At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
Once again, Niger Republic is to the south of Africa, and there's a west of Africa, and there's a lot going on there. I want to go back again to more of the discussion from the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Abuja on Sunday. This is more of what he had to say.
I appreciate that. It is a very challenging time for us. And in this time, that we must demonstrate our commitment to a sustainable fact clearly open to us, that without freedom and democracy, there can be no development. There can be no end to poverty. The danger to us right now is the fact that one of us, His Excellency Ahmed Bazoum, is in hostage by his own army. The presidential guard. What a calamity.
Well, what a calamity. That is, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria saying that what a calamity in 21st century. This shouldn't be happening. This is not going to happen under my nose as the chairman of the ECOWAS, and I'll be doing the first thing, disconnect the power supply to the Republic of Niger. So as I speak to us right now, Nigeria have now disconnected or cutting supplies to its northern neighbor, Republic of Niger. Remember that Nigeria supply electricity as well to Benin Republic, but it seems that according to what we know, Nigeria have now also say, we will be coming after you, but not as Nigeria, but under the West African trade bloc called ECOWAS. So do you think that the sanction on Niger, but has not said if this include electricity supply, but already they've disconnected that. ECOWAS defense chiefs have been meeting in Nigeria to discuss a potential military intervention to roll back the coup. Do you think that the ECOWAS will put in foot soldier straight into Republic of Niger in the next few days? Today is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So in the next 4 days, in less than 72 hours, are we going to see the tension dosing through negotiation? Do you think that those that have plotted the coup will back down and they will allow the constitution to be reversed back because they've already canceled the constitution? Will they allow the president, Mohamed Bazoum, to take charge back? Remember that they've stopped every relationship with France. As I speak to you right now, I've been seeing footages of evacuees out of Niger Republic. America is standing by. Do you also know that America has the biggest drone base in Niger Republic to the tune of $110 million? What is going to happen to these bases? As we have been told, I'll be telling you more about that as well. The United States of America has a biggest drone base in Niger, and as we speak right now, it seems situation is not doing very well. What is going to happen to the United States of America and the base drone that they have in Niger? Is there a U.S. military base in the Republic of Niger? The U.S. has two major military locations in Niger Republic, the Air Base 101 in Neyman and the Air Base 201 in Agadez. The Niger Air Base 201 is a United States drone air base near the Agadez in Niger Republic. The base is about 5 kilometers southeast of Agadez. It is owned by the Nigerian military, but it was built and paid for by the United States of America. It is operated by the U.S. military as a drone base. As I speak to you right now, all this is becoming a concern to the U.S. government and likewise many other foreign diplomats and different countries that are now moving their citizens out of Republic of Niger. Good evening to you, to my beautiful mom once again, and welcome to those of you that have joined us my mommy, Beauty Amokwe, very good evening to you. Gabson, Teles, good evening to you. Odun Chicago, my very own Paddy. This is Star Radio UK. This is how we roll it every Wednesday. It's just about 20 minutes. I'll be telling you all the Q&A that took place at the United Nations just under 5 hours ago. But if you're joining me for the first time, this is how we do it.
Good.
At work. On your smartphone.
In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
The question is, when there's a coup, remember that Buhari had a coup in the 80s. And whenever there's a coup, there'll be a lot of changes. There'll be so much movement. And the question is, what is going to happen to the American drone base in Niger? Because we're talking about almost close to $110 million worth of drone base, where the Americans are using that to operate into other regions for security purposes. Remember that the Vice President Kamala Harris was still in Africa some few months back. It didn't touch to Nigeria, but she was in Ghana, she was in Benin Republic, and they also promised millions of dollars to continue to support the terrorism happening in West Africa. The West are now concerned. We are talking about $110 million US drone base in Niger Republic is now a bit of concern to the Americans and also to the American government. My name is Olami Koiki, and this is Star Radio UK every Wednesday. This is how we roll it out, as we say.
Good.
As we say.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
In your car.
This is Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK.
And if you don't know what it looks like, when we talk about the drone, I will give you a background as the engineers are working on that. So there's a lot at stake. But the question is, many journalists kept the question going at the United Nations. I'll be telling you what they were saying and the question being asked. Are you concerned as a citizen of ECOWAS that the ECOWAS are saying that allow a constitutional government in place to return back, or in 72 hours, we are going to attack Republic of Niger? I am not the one saying that. This is what Bola Ahmed Tinubu was saying. Let's go back again to Abuja. Well, not really Abuja, but part of the discussion in Abuja on Sunday.
It's an assault on every one of us. And we must take a very strong action.
Well, that word, I want you to take note of that. We must take a very strong action. Bola Tinubu is not joking. You know, the Jagaban of Nigeria is not joking at all. We will not allow any coup to take place in West Africa under my nose as the chairman of the ECOWAS. What is your take on that? Already there's a lot going on in Nigeria. We're talking about the NLC. I'm coming back to that later. There's a sit-at-home. There's still a lot of agitation, and there's a lot of pressure going on. But we are discussing tonight on the Niger Voices on the Star Radio UK. It is the first day of the month, according to my own, because whenever I come on the Star Radio every Wednesday on Niger Voices, it is my own first way. Yesterday was the first day of the month. I say happy new month to everyone. Happy birthday to those of you celebrating your birthday in the month of August. But let's listen again. Bola Tinubu say, we will give you action. Do you think that is going to happen? Or do you think it's Loriro? How many of you remember that? Loriro? Loriro? Do you think that Bola Tinubu will take action? I think he loves to take action. Do you think that he will have the balls to move in the soldiers? What do you think about these? I love the drones. America have spent $110 million of drone into the base. But as we speak right now, nobody knows what is going to happen because there's a coup. The U.S. military is unable to fly their drone from a base in Niger because the country airspace has been closed after the coup overthrew the government, according to the U.S. official. The drones can no longer fly. Airspace is locked. Any aircraft will be brought down, according to the coup organizer. What is your take on that? Mrs. Maddy say he missed the talk.
Take a very strong action.
Well, he repeated again, we will take a very strong action. We will not tolerate nonsense in West Africa. Known as the Nigerian Air Base 201, the installation of this air base that allows drones to fly out from Niger Republic cost the U.S. government $110 million to build, and it features a 6,200-foot runway for the MQ-9 Rapid, which is the one behind me, as well as the manned aircraft. The U.S. military began conducting the drone flight from that base since 2019. Are we seeing a proxy war happening in West Africa? Because we saw that Russia just held what we can say a summit with African countries, and I saw the coup, the military coup plotters from Mali and Burkina Faso were also present. But Bola Tinubu said, no. We are not going to allow this to happen under my nose.
Take a very strong action. Want to protect the life of Bazoum.
Well, he wants to protect the life of one of them. Do you think that it is all going to change rapidly in the next 4 days should ECOWAS go ahead with the plan? At exactly 1900 hours, we will be going to the United Nations. It will take a bit of 10 minutes where you will listen to all the details, questions, and answers surrounding what the United Nations knows, what the United Nations are doing, what actually is United Nations going to do differently to make sure that we avert any war in Niger Republic, or is the United Nations going to sit back and allow ECOWAS to take action?
Of Bazoum, President Bazoum. Disrupting the democratic order has left the people of Niger in a state of uncertainty and vulnerability.
Well, and definitely they are, because there's so much happening as I speak to you right now. 5 of the ECOWAS countries were absent during the defense chief meeting in Nigeria, according to the news coming from Abuja. Defense chief from Mali, Niger Republic, Guinea-Bissau, Burkina Faso, and Guinea are conspicuously absent from the meeting currently ongoing in Abuja. Remember that Mali have stated it clearly. We will support Niger Republic. Guinea have said the same thing, or should we say Burkina Faso are saying that should ECOWAS attack Republic of Niger, we will take that as war against our brothers. Do you think that there's a danger ahead? Are you concerned? Are you worried? Are you not worried? What is your take on that? Good evening to you, Bishop Additional. When oppression is too much, helpless people pray to God, will work out a way to punish the oppressor. It is God at work. Larry Lamina say, Agbado Boko Ramu is killing Nigeria for so many years. What has Bola Tinubu done? Grandma Felicia Jagbe, good evening to you. Good evening to you, Aderoju. Good evening to you, Elijah. Oh, hey, Biafra. There's a lot going on in West Africa. Shout out to all our grandmothers. But let's go back and hear more from the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Bola Tinubu says, I will take decisive action because I am not tolerating nonsense under my nose as the chairman of ECOWAS.
But we have to face the challenge that we have right now. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, during the 63rd Ordinary Summit, the authorities set up a troika. comprising some of us, to deepen reflections on security matters in the region and to accompany ECOWAS mediators. We'll be discussing other details. But just let's cast our mind back. On this assault, I've briefed some of you about the actions that I've taken. I'm prepared to abide by all resolution necessary.
The word resolution propped up during the Q&A of the United Nations, but I've not seen United Nations sort of resolution. Let's leave Bola Tinubu and let's go to the 4 days ago. So when we count 4 days ago, today is Wednesday, so let's count back. So yesterday was Tuesday, Monday, Sunday, Saturday. Before the emergency summit in Abuja, the United Nations also had a lot to discuss. And that part of discussion was Niger, peacekeeping operation, and other topics. This was on the 28th of July. Let's listen to what the United Nations response was as at the beginning of this coup happening in Niger Republic. But as I speak to you right now, the Germans have withdrawn their aid. They are no longer giving any more aid to the Republic of Niger. Niger has also, the coup, those that planned the coup have also started arresting top politicians. Let me quickly give you some of the headline that is coming up as well. Coup leaders in Niger Republic on Monday have now arrested the ministers and senior members of the party of the disposed President Muhammadu Bazoum. According to Reuters, the Nigerian Party for Democracy and the Socializing said junta forces arrested the ousted government mine minister, the head of the ruling party. Every one of you have seen the finance minister was crying when he was told, where is the money? If you don't give us the money, I'm sure a lot of you saw what was said in there. Even the oil minister, Mahamami Mahmudu, who is also the son of the former president Isosu Mahudu, has been arrested. The party added that the interior minister, the transport minister, and a deputy had already been detained, while calling on citizens to come together to protect democracy. Do you think that they want to protect democracy? Let's hear what the United Nations said on the 28th of July.
A short while, we will be joined by Carl Scow, the Deputy Executive Director and Chief Operating Officer of the Rome-based World Food Program. He's going to update you on WFP's emergency responses and operational challenges, including those due to the funding shortfalls and the suspension of the Black Sea Initiative. Quick update regarding the situation in Niger. I know a number of you have been asking about the whereabouts of the head of our Office for West Africa and the Sahel, Leonardo Santos Shimao, is briefing or is about to brief the Security Council on the Secretary General's behalf in close consultations. He is back in Dakar, and he has been conducting close consultations with ECOWAS, with the African Union, and other key partners to support the regional efforts to restore constitutional order. He's also been engaging with a number of others. On the Sunday, we expect him to be at the ECOWAS summit in Abuja, which will be dedicated.
So, which is, this was 2 days before the Abuja ECOWAS summit. So I'm just taking you through the timeline so that you are not lost in the conversation. This is still the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. I'll be telling you everything we need to know about the NLC. I thought that they're going to pull the plug, but it seems they said no. Bola Tinubu, speaking on Monday, would not stop the NLC protest.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Why are those in Niger celebrating the Russian flag and burning down the French flag? In a sign of growing hostility towards the West since the coup in Niger, a businessman proudly showed off his outfit in the color of a Russian flag in a traditional outline of the disposed President Muhammadu Bazoum. Since the coup, there has been a war of words between the military and the West. Mr. Bazoum was a staunch ally of the West in the fight against militant Islamists and was a strong economic partner as well. Niger owns a French military base and is the world's 7th biggest producer of uranium. Let me remind you, Niger hosts a French military base and is the world's 7th biggest producer of uranium. The fuel is vital for the nuclear power, with a quarter of it going to Europe, especially the former colonial power, France. Is this making sense? Is this the reason why those that plot the coup are tired of the colonial mentality? Is this why? Good evening to you, Omobolaji, and good evening to those of you that have joined us as we continue to review everything we need to know. T. Majeg, good evening to you as well. Do you think that the West are now facing as many of the crises that is uprolling quickly? What is your take on that? We might open the phone line towards the end of the program, but the Niger hosts a French military base and is the number 7 biggest producer of uranium, but all this travels to Europe, but most especially, most of it, particularly, most of this uranium end up in France. Since General Abdurrahman Tchiani was overthrown, the president in a coup on 26th of July, Russian colors have suddenly appeared on the street. Do you think that the Niger are excited that working with Russia is much better than working with the West? Thousands took to this part in the protest in the capital, Niamey, on Sunday, with some waving the Russian flags and even attacking the French embassy. It now seems that this movement is spreading across the country. The businessman is actually based 500 miles or 800 kilometers away from the central city, but is a proud person putting on a Russian outfit. They have exploited all the riches of my country, such as the uranium, petrol, gold. The poorest Nigerians are unable to eat 3 times a day because of France. My question tonight is, Oguntade Seun say, do ECOWAS think we are still in the olden days like before? This is a new era and a computer age and things would happen. Golden House, good evening to you. You said White Lion. Daniel, the engineer, good evening to you. Maintain for Life 2001, good evening to you. Deep Omameli DJ, good evening to you. And welcome to those of you as you are joining us. Comrade Plan B say it will be a disgrace sooner than later. Once again, this is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Worldwide, online 24/7.
As I continue to monitor the situation,
Worldwide, online
remember that this is Star Radio UK.
Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK.
Why are those celebrating the Russian flag and burning down the flags from the Republic of Niger? I'll be telling you everything we need to know. It seems that we are now seeing part of West Africa that are now tired of what we can say the Western power, the Western rule. Remember to speak at the appropriate time, because when we don't speak out, we don't know what is happening. Keep the comment coming and I'll be reading them out for the benefit of those that are not watching from a particular platform. Remember to follow us on the Star Radio UK network every Wednesday on Niger Voices. Remember to also subscribe on the Star Radio UK Twitter, where we communicate with you, like I said, at exactly before 8 o'clock, everything about self-determination, the Simon Ekpa, the government in exile, the Prime Minister, Nnamdi Kanu's letter, Igboho lifting the embargo, all that will be discussed. But for now, we are continue to discuss ECOWAS. The Nigerian Labour Congress seems to be tired of the lies of the government. Since 1940, according to the government in exile, Simon Ekpa, I picked that up from his Twitter feed, It says, and I quote, since 1940, we have been asking for a better pay rise. We have been asking for a better minimum wage, but that seems to not happening. Do you think that as many people that came out today celebrating, do you think that it will make any changes? What is your take on that? As I continue to monitor everything surrounding the coup, the ECOWAS, remember that Bola Tinubu on Monday says, I will give up 500 billion palliative. Do you believe the government? Why are Nigerians not believing this government? Do you think that Bola Tinubu palliative will make any impact? What is your take with America now losing the air base that was built with over $110 million? Do you think that is just a temporary measure? Do you think that everything will come back to normal? Are we only exaggerating all these? Do you think that Niger will come back in place and just accept democratic rule and allow the coup plotter to be pardoned? What is your take on all these? Where do you stand? Are you concerned, West African citizen, thinking that whatever is happening on the ground there would have a big impact on your lives? Do you think that whatever is happening now is just what we can call change of power? Is the American excited with what is going on between all these? Is this going to be a game changer between the West and Russia on the territory of West Africa? We saw what is happening inside Sudan. That seems not to be coming up on the news anymore, but the war is still going on. And as you can see in the image that the engineer has pulled out there, you can see to your right-hand side the Russian flag, and right on the other side is the flag of the Niger. And it seems that they keep burning down the flags that represent the French. What is going on? Do you think that any attack will mean an attack on Niger, according to Mali and Burkina Faso? Let me also remind you, the IMF had yet to disburse a total of $131.5 million loan to Niger that was literally approved just few weeks before the coup. And now it's just about 3 minutes past 7 p.m. and we go straight to United Nations, where you will listen to part of the conversation that took place some 5 hours ago when the United Nations were taking the Q&A from their representatives. Let's take you through that now.
Mr. Santos Shamal, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. All right, we're set. Now let's get started. Without any further ado, we have with us the Secretary General's Special Representative for West Africa and the Sahel, Leonardo Santos Shamal, who is talking to you from Accra, Ghana. Mr. Santos Shamal, welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. First and foremost, let me reiterate our condemnation of this issue of power by force in Niger. The unfolding crisis, if not addressed, will exacerbate the deteriorating security situation in the region. It will also negatively impact the development and lives of the populations in a country where 4.3 million people need humanitarian assistance. Niger and the region do not need coups d'etat. Population deserve to enjoy peace, democratic governance, and prosperity. Heads of state of the region gathered in Abuja last Sunday for the ECOWAS Extraordinary Summit on the situation in Niger and have taken decisive action commensurate with the gravity of the situation. We remain engaged to support ECOWAS efforts towards restoring a constitutional order and consolidating democratic gains in Niger. Thank you. This is my opening remarks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. We'll now turn the floor over to questions. First off, from Edith Lederer of the Associated Press.
Thank you, Mr. Santos Shamal. On behalf of the United Nations Correspondents Association for doing this briefing. It's a subject we're all interested in. My question is, the military leaders of Mali and Burkina Faso have said that the deployment of any foreign forces from ECOWAS or elsewhere would be considered an act of war, and they would join the Niger coup leaders to help fight. You were in Nigeria for the ECOWAS meeting. Do you expect ECOWAS to go ahead with the deployment of troops in light of this? Have you still been having any new discussions on what might come next in efforts to restore President Bazoum to power?
The summit gave 1 week to the military junta to hand back power to President Bazoum. If this doesn't happen after that week, then other options are on the making, including military intervention, including use of force. That's what they said. That period, in my view, is try to give time for a peaceful settlement to take place. So there's been efforts underway. Yeah, you may recall that they asked the president of Chad to go to Niamey to meet some of the key personalities involved on this matter. So, and I believe that other efforts also are underway. So I hope that the use of force eventually will not be necessary.
Is the UN involved in any of these new efforts to peacefully resolve this situation?
We are supporting ECOWAS because our role is precisely that, and not to be aware, but we are not engaged on any negotiations so far. But we are fully supporting all efforts to restore democratic order in that country.
Ibtisam Azam.
Hi, my name is Ibtisam Azam, Al Arabi Al Jadid newspaper. I have a follow-up. When you say you're supporting all efforts, does this also include the statements you referred to by ECOSOC, which says, which talks about, which includes the use of force in case the military does not reinstate the elected president? And if I'm just to clarify, so from the UN, from your office, you are not in any direct contact with the military, with the coup people, and when was the last time you were in contact with the President Mohammed Bazoum? Thank you.
Well, a few weeks ago, I visited Niamey. It was well before the coup. This time around, when the coup started, I tried to contact him without much success, but I sent him a message of solidarity. So now the decision of force is necessary. It's not a UN decision. It's a ECOWAS decision. But what we value and we support more is that all means to find a peaceful solution for the problem should be used. But recognize also that ECOWAS has the right to take other measures if they feel fit.
Just to clarify, sorry, just a follow up. So does that mean? I mean, it's clear for me that it's ECOWAS' decision to, or for the issue of the use of force. But does the UN support that or not? Or do you believe in such case they would need a Security Council resolution?
No, the UN only can act with the UN mandate. Without that mandate, UN doesn't have the mandate to intervene. That's why I was saying that the eventual use of force is a sub-regional decision by ECOWAS.
Okay, I want you to take note of some of the questions. We're going to go back again to the United Nations. What you're listening to was just 5 hours ago, Q&A from the media to the representative of the United Nations presently in Ghana. Some of those questions that are coming through is United Nations involved, supporting but not engaging? So the United Nations is working behind the scene. Does the UN also going to allow a United Nations resolution before an attack? Well, according to the spokesperson there says, this is just a regional problem and it has to be dealt with regionally. This is the head of the United Nations Office for West Africa and the Sahel, Leonard Santos Simo. He was speaking about some few hours ago the unfolding crisis in Niger, addressing with the deteriorating security situation in the region. I want to go back to the United Nations and I want you to listen to more of his response from some of the journalists on the ground.
Even by ECOWAS.
Celia Davaren, Africa Confidential. You talked about giving the junta 1 week. Do you think it's realistic? And do you think also it's, what is the word, realistic to impose sanctions on a country which is the poorest country in Africa?
Well, Niger is a member of a regional organization. So when you do so, yeah, that means that you accept to abide your political behavior in line with the principles of that organization. On the other hand, yeah, you know by being a member what is going to it might happen to you if you don't follow, if you violate the rules governing the organization of which you are part of. And therefore, to say that 1 week can be more than enough if everybody talks in good faith to find a workable solution, if everybody wants to avoid a bloodshed.
Okay, so what is actually saying that 1 week is more than enough for the coup plotters and the ECOWAS to determine. The question is, what happened to Mali? What happened to Burkina Faso? We know that some of those other countries, they've been coup. What has been the response of ECOWAS? We know, according to what we have, there's been almost 82 coup in that region. But the coup that is happening in the other parts, why has it not make any impact when it comes to the ECOWAS bloc? So let's take a look at, what countries have coup occurred before we go back again, to the United Nations as we speak. The European countries are now evacuating their citizens as I speak to you right now. I am seeing images coming out of that. West Africa is threatening to force, use force against those coup leaders. Do you think that, all these is going to make any changes? I'm going to give you a background to some of where we've been able to talk about the coup. Burkina Faso, Mali are warning the military intervention in Niger. Do you think that that would dose the tension? Some of the Niger neighbors defend the coup. They are even hinting at war. It is a warning for Africa. Nectech Electrical, thank you so much. Ayo Ore, Nigerian politicians will be so scared right now. Keep the comment coming. I'll be picking your comment as we go into it. I saw Prophet Ogundele, Oluwaseun Okunsoya say, enough is enough. Yoruba nation has started the journey to the honey land, no going back to the desert land. Prophet Ogundele say, yes, Yoruba nation will come out of Nigeria. Abraham Black says, good evening. And likewise, Mr. Samuel Afolabi say, ẹni tí ire rẹ̀ dàrú, ẹni tí ilé rẹ̀ dàrú, ó fẹ́ lọ tò ilé onílé. Tinubu is joking with fire. And that means that, Tinubu's house is on fire and is planning to fix the house of his neighbor. Prophet John Ogundele says, time for Yoruba nation to go. Ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá ní gbogbo àgbáyé. Mr. Gbemi, good evening to you. And again, good evening to Mr. Samuel Afolabi. Say, principles and values of democracy, said Tinubu with a whoo. Yekini Mustafa, Mokibobo Enti Oke Ogun. Good evening to you, Mr. Adelagan Samson Oladipupo. My beautiful, beautiful auntie, Adeleke Blessing Mary, good evening to you. All hail our Biafra brothers and sisters. Tiamio Lukman, I say good evening to you. Keep your comment coming. I'll be reading them out. Isaac Olaide, good evening to you. And from our mother, Omolara Yabuajala says, Happy New Month to everyone. And those of you on the Twitter, good evening to you. Madipi said, we don't want a war in Africa, but it seems that ECOWAS is pushing for a war. And let's come back again to more Q&A. We still have about just about another 10 minutes, as so many questions were asked during that interaction with the regional, with the head of the United Nations Office for West Africa. He was communicating from Ghana through United Nations when I picked this up, and we thought we should let you know as well. So this is how the United Nations is responding to the current crisis going on as we speak right now. Once again, if you're joining me for the very, very first time, you've not been on this platform before, you don't know what we do here. What we do every Wednesday is called the Niger Voices, where we talk about everything that's got to do with the indigenous people. We talked about the Yoruba nation, the Biafra nation. We talked about the Nigerians as those that still wants to keep Nigeria. I am not one of those. Nigeria is a failed contraction, and it is time that we allow a sovereignty of the Yoruba people. Good evening to you, Comrade Shagun Ono, or Mobolaji Abdullahi. Say Yoruba kingdom not going back. And let's say, once again, a very good evening to those of you that are listening to us from every part of the globe. If you're watching me from Africa, let me know. Okay, that is not the one we're looking for. Bear with us once again. As we say, this is still the finest African and Caribbean radio station every Wednesday between 6 p.m. where we talked about Niger Voices.
Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK.
Good.
At work,
At home,
on your smartphone.
in your car,
At work,
at home.
on your smartphone.
This is Star Radio UK.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
And we say welcome to those of you if you're joining me for the first time. Let's go back again to United Nations where we take more of the Q&A.
If everybody wants to avoid a bloodshed.
About the sanction, please.
But the sanctions are now have been imposed with immediate effect. Yeah, so underway. But even ECOWAS, as far as I understand, is not for use of force. It's for negotiating settlement of the situation. That's why they dispatched the president of Chad and the other envoys try to find a solution. But what do they say is that they are going to use force if this peaceful means fail.
Murad Al Jazeera.
Thank you. From the statement that issued by the Security Council on the issue, it doesn't seem that the Security Council is willing to take actions. It supports ECOWAS, but it doesn't seem that the Security Council itself ready or willing to take actions. Do you think there is a need for the Security Council to take actions on this issue?
Well, I don't speak on behalf of the Security Council. I don't have a mandate for that. What I can say is that the Security Council issue a communique condemning the coup. So this can be a first stage before eventually taking other measures if needed. But also, it was clear by the communique of the Security Council that the organ is supporting the initiatives led by ECOWAS.
Okay, Margaret Bashir.
Hi, it's Margaret Bashir from Voice of America.